Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, celebrating expression, fostering talent, and connecting the community to Columbus artists, performances, exhibitions, concerts, public art, and more at columbusmakesart.com. From these contributing sponsors and viewers like you, thank you.
This time on Broad and High, beauty woven into everyday objects, wrongful conviction advocacy through the arts, the migration experience illuminated in a video installation, and don't be afraid of a little noise. This and more right now on Broad and High. Welcome to Broad and High. I'm your host, Kate Quickle. Artist Meg Slevser's botanically inspired ceramics are made for beauty and function. She incorporates joy and playfulness and colors you'll find nowhere else. We visited her Franklinton studio to learn more about her journey.
For me, it started slowly. I went to CCAD and got my fine arts degree in ceramics. And then after that, graduating, it was a slow process of collecting both equipment and materials. And while I was collecting those to kind of build my studio, I was working for different small businesses. I was bartending and also working for the college. And as I was doing that, I was learning things that I wasn't able to learn in the classroom setting, such as like running a small business, the financials of running a small business, in terms of like bartending, how to talk to people, how to engage with people. It was a lot helpful in sales. So yeah, that's kind of how it happened. My inspiration comes from the everyday simple moments that bring you joy that oftentimes are overlooked. So I like to call it like the things that you drip dopamine. So like the little tiny sunsets, or like drinking a yummy cup of coffee, petting a cat or a dog, just those little teeny tiny moments that can be very impactful. And a lot of my personal inspiration of like the actual pieces I create come from my daily gratitude practice, like things that I am personally grateful for. And I feel like that kind of cross platforms over to other people as well. I work in a technique that's hand building, and it leans towards slab construction. So I'll roll out pieces in flat forms, like slab, like you do when you're making cutout cookies, same kind of thing. And then I cut them out into different shapes based on paper patterns that I've made. And then I will take those slabs and transform them into three-dimensional forms. And then once I do that, they dry a little bit, and then I will add the color, the Terra Sig, paint that on, carve that, and then fire it. So it's a multi-level process, but it's pretty basic. Ceramics are hard. They're a hard object. So I always love that, the juxtaposition of like hard and soft, and having something that, is a hard object that doesn't really have any give or play to it, to have like this soft essence to it. So I achieve that with the hand-built nature. So it's all going to be kind of like perfectly imperfect, and then with the color palette as well. I make all my own glazes and all my own slips, so then I'm able to do a different color palette than you're going to find in underglazes or traditional ceramic glazes. So I wanted, in one, my color palette to stand out, to be totally different, and two, to also work and coincide with thematically what I'm trying to do. Say I'm gonna do like a new style of mug. It's like, okay, I'm gonna do a different shape of mug. How does that relate back to what I'm already making? Does it make sense in the collection? What other designs can I do on it? So it just kind of is let's do some new, but let's also reach back to the collection so it makes sense altogether. My favorite part is the connecting with different people. So the ceramics community is a wonderful community to be in. It's very exploratory, it's curious. So I love being a part of that community, and I love being a part of like the larger artist community. And by running a small business, I'm able to sustain myself like financially in that community and be able to do what I love full time. So that's, obviously what I love about it the most. And I think for maybe one of the things that's not so great about it is just the consistency, the unknown. If you're working at least in the past when I've worked like a 9-to-5 job, if I show up at 9, I'll be there till 5, I get this money. So it's a little bit more nuanced of like how you are approaching your income and your connections with people. It's just different. Like the wall says, I hope that it sparks a little bit of joy and has those like tiny moments where, because they're seeing that in me and in my work, that it gives them an invitation to incorporate that into their everyday life and connect back with themselves.
To see more of Meg's work, find her online at megslevser.com. Six men living in the greater Cleveland area have a special brotherhood, but it's not the kind of club you'd want to be eligible for. They were all accused and convicted of crimes they maintain they never committed. Now, out of prison, they are raising awareness about wrongful conviction and taking their stories to the stage as voices of injustice.
I don't say nothing else no more after that, right?
And they both jump back.
I don't know how to act.
Okay,
I am
so
totally
right here, no,
out of my comfort zone.
I know I do say that. I say, come on, let's go to school.
It should be seen like it should be easier since it's my story, And I try to look at it like I'm having a conversation with my nephew. And when I do it like that and think like that, then it get a little easier.
Sweet man, you don't have to be afraid of him, right?
I wanted to see like a whole little clip of my life from different stages, like when I was young, then I grew older, and when I got arrested for the crime I didn't do, and when I got out, and just to see my story and how I held on, and how I surprised everybody, because everybody thought that like I was a killer, but in fact at the end of the day, I saved my nephew's life by donating him my kidney.
Word. I believe using the least amount of words to get across what I'm trying to get across. So we got a simple job, man. You know what I mean? So
us 6 are here in Cuyahoga County. It was just natural. It just gelled for us to come together and form a group that can use the arts. We're big on mental wellness and local politics as far as judges, races, prosecution races, counsel. We're interested in what's going on right here.
Our sheriffs,
yes, county prosecutors.
Our prosecutors.
The public sees when guys get out and they think everything's gonna be okay, but they don't see the denials. They don't see the appeals that have been denied from one district, one court to the next, the heartbreak. We want to put flesh and blood on to these stories so people can understand what happens to the individual, the trauma, to the families, and to the community.
And our system still don't like to admit that they messed up. They don't want to admit that. And you barely ever see a court official or a prosecutor or anything like that apologize for what they did to the person. It just don't happen.
So you just listen to me and I can get you a plea, or you can take it to trial and you'll be wishing you're free.
Look, I ain't do nothing. That soft top was 4 of us in that car.
So we called it the lynched among us because we did some research and we saw some striking similarities between wrongful convictions and the lynchings from back in the early 1800s and 1900s. Those similarities were that These mobs were formed because of allegations, many times false allegations. Many of the men who have been injured by wrongful conviction, they've had evidence hidden from them. They have fabricated evidence, false accusations hurled against them.
And I could change your life with the entry on my computer. This is chess, not checkers. You already been outmaneuvered.
You know, Michael Sutton, his judge, at one point when he was accused, it was teenagers accused of a horrible shooting, 2 people. Police even said they shot at them. But a judge read that evidence in the height of the hysteria of their case and said, you know what? Something's not right here. She chose to release them.
And to the stage, 2007 high school diploma, South High, Michael Sutton.
For some reason, some decision maker said, let's go to this kid's graduation, a moment he'll never forget in his life, and arrest him and bring him back to jail, where he was sentenced to astronomical time.
But we feel like the theatrical part of it makes you be with the story, like you in the story. If you're watching it and live, you in it. So if you take away from it, when you leave, it becomes more impactful that you were able to visualize what we're saying.
It's a part of the healing journey when you use the arts to express yourself. It's more about the expression. You have to remember, like, we came from a place that tries to take that from you.
We definitely raising awareness of that wrongful conviction is a huge problem that needs to be addressed. And I feel like it's just not being addressed enough. These are human beings' lives that are being taken away from them. Like, these are people that we losing while we in prison that we'll never see again. Moments of our kids' life we'll never get back again. And I just feel like it's not a level of importance for real with it. Nobody sees it though it's something urgent, like this has to stop right now. We can't keep sending innocent people to prison for crimes they didn't commit and then just let them out and act like everything's okay.
It's more than just my wrongful conviction, it's my family's as well, you know. I lost several family members throughout this, and when I came home, I came home to a whole new world, you know, and I'm thinking, looking for the same people who cared for me, loved me the most, and a lot of them was gone, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, it's deep, you know. It's more than just you that suffer and go through things. It's your whole family and the people that you know. Because you come home, you're 27 years, 6 months, and 20 days, it's like, that's a whole lifetime. So you don't even know the people that you thought you knew, like your family members, because people change. The world change.
I work for the city of Cleveland. I worked at RTA. I started my own business. But like I said, it's been rough since I've been home. Been home 8 years now. I have 4 sons, it's like, and I have a daughter, you know. Like, building a relationship with people is like hard for me because I'm so detached from everybody now, you know. And everybody was like, man, are you coming to the party? I'm like, I probably don't come.
You know, for me, the hardest part for me was to call home and tell my family when I got time at the parole board. Like the reaction I was getting to hear them crying and different things like that hurted me more than anything. And I'm the one that's getting the time, you know? So that was like a hard pill to swallow for me, but I think to get out to bring awareness to this situation is me turning that negative thing that happened to me into a positive. So that's why I try to do it as much as I can.
Everyone is exceeding my expectations. I plan to keep going with this. I'm getting great directorial experience. I'm thinking like this can go on Broadway. If somebody would just say, okay, this is good enough, I will back you and I can do it in its fullness, this can be on Broadway.
To learn more about this traveling production, check out voicesofinjustice.com. Multidisciplinary artist Juana Valdez created Rest Ashore, a large-scale, multi-channel video installation that explores the migration experience and the refugee crisis. We visit Locust Projects, the longest-running alternative art space in Miami, Florida, for the story.
When artists speak, they simultaneously are using imagery. Right? We're translating everything we do in our minds visually. It's an automatic, we don't even think about it. It became really clear to me that I needed to work with a moving image, right? There's several sequences that take place underwater, and there was no other way of representing that. I'm Juana Valdez. I was born in Cuba. And I came with my family to the United States in 1971 through the Freedom Flights. The exhibition is Rest Ashore. The idea was always to do a video in which there would be no physical bodies in the video. I wanted the viewer who walked into the space to feel like they were occupying that space, that sort of sensation that they were part of this experience. As a Cuban, I know what it means to migrate by sea because we have been, as a community, experiencing this for the last 50 years. And so I wanted to use that personal experience and that knowledge and that understanding, and I wanted to take that and then open it up to the greater global crisis that is happening, and especially that started to happen in 2015 in Europe because of the Syrian refugees. When we think about migration right now, we imagine people in third world countries coming to America or even to Europe for escaping poverty, sometimes war, famine, but we are experiencing the pandemic right now that has made, like if you were in some cities, people have chosen to leave the city and go to the country. So the whole idea also partly with the video and not having an individual be represented in the video was to deal with that due to climate change or due to some other situation, any one of us at any particular time right now could or would be forced to migrate. And when you first enter the space is you sort of dealing with the history of what you are about to encounter. The very first thing you encounter is a wall of pallets, so you really don't know what you're entering, and in that way it kind of gets a little bit menacing, and it was done intentionally because it was meant to give you the sensation that maybe you were entering the back of a shipyard, right? And what it would be like if you were going to be taking this kind of risky journey. You go from being a person to also being thought of as cargo and as a package, right? And here, you're seeing the contemporary artwork. The video takes you from one day in the life almost. The journey begins and it takes you through the whole process of what would happen if maybe there was a capsize. The video ends very slowly with a sort of small view that then enlarged itself, or what seems like countless numbers of clothing that have washed up on the shore. Then slowly but surely, the video begins to expand and move up, and you see the ocean again, and then the sunset, and you hear the motor almost very far in the distance, and the journey begins again.
At Locust Projects, we're a place of yes for artists. So we let artists really realize their wildest dreams, most ambitious ideas. We're really unique in the Miami arts ecosystem in that way. We commission artists to create these large-scale, site-specific installations. So you'll never see these exhibitions in another place, only here at Locust while they're on view. They're typically immersive, and we really give artists the opportunity to experiment in new media with new ideas. In our 2020-21 season, we're focusing on Miami women artists and turning the space over to them. So we've seen in this season Christina Peterson, who was able to realize a project she had been wanting to do for more than 10 years, which was to create a cemetery, to cover the floors with pine needles and to fill the room with the sounds of the song called In the Pines, and actual tombstones that memorialized really important figures from South Florida's history, but also memorialized the creatures that have been lost due to development in the pine rocklands of the Everglades. In the case of Juana Valdez, again, you're really seeing Locust Project's mission in motion. This is the first time that Juana has had the opportunity to work in video. And here she's doing it in massive, large scale. Artists, in order to have careers, have to have exhibitions. And that's where Locust Projects comes in. A lot of artists will have their very first exhibition at Locust, and more established artists will be able to do something they weren't able to do before.
To see more of Juana's work, find her online at juanamvaldez.com. Noise Control is known for its hard rock, disco pop sound and incredible performances, complete with a light show. Kenny, Cameron, Brad, Jeremiah, and Matthew donned their sherbet-colored jumpsuits and graced us with their presence for a Broad and High Presents recording. Take a listen.
Change. You can say banana 'cause I'm learning my voice. Me
To hear more, you can find them on Instagram at NoiseCTRLBand. Well, that's our show. Remember, you can find all of our stories online at WOSU.org as well as on our YouTube channel. For all of us here at WOSU, I'm Kate Quickle. Thanks for watching.
Crying to these hands, we can make you whole again. Pity the day, leave them to Leviathan. Give us all your wants, give us all your pain. We can make you better, choke you out of your shame. I can feel your grace spitting on my face. God, let you be God. I can feel your grace spitting on my face. Take a moment to breathe, take a moment to be, take a moment to feel and keep your being. You're running out of time. So be afraid!
Production of Broad and High is funded in part by the Greater Columbus Arts Council, celebrating expression, fostering talent, and connecting the community to Columbus artists, performances, exhibitions, concerts, public art, and more at columbusmakesart.com.